Welcome to Football Mezzanine. I'm your host Ansh, and with me are your co-hosts Shrikar and Tristan. This week, we look back at the Carabao Cup final, or as Shrikar likes to call it, the Caribbean Cup final. Why? Who knows?
After, we delve into that cage match at Old Trafford, where rejuvenated Manchester United throat-punched Chelsea in the second half.
We also look back at the Hammers getting hammered away at Anfield as the fabulous Liverpool trio rip apart West Ham.
Hey, welcome to the 4th episode of Football Mezzanine. I am speaking here with Mr. Kovali and Tristan himself.
Yes, the one, the only.
Hey guys, what's up?
Okay, perfect.
We're all here.
I got my wine beside me.
We're all pretty hammered. I'm pretty
Or
hammered.
we will be soon.
Okay, let's get right down to the Hammers. I don't know what that means. We're not going to talk about West Ham
Yeah,
right now,
that'd
so
be the
no,
wrong
let's
team.
not
Not
do
yet.
that.
No one cares about West Ham anyways. That's not true. I'm going to be hated on by West Ham fans now.
Probably
David
not.
Moyes, football genius.
Because they have no fans.
What?
Just,
What do you mean they have no
just
fans?
Just move on.
Let's
Okay.
proceed.
How was your guys' weeks? Did you catch up with your games and everything?
I saw the Chelsea Man U
Yeah,
game.
I went back to my parents' place this week, so I actually had cable, which means I had an uninterrupted broadcast, which was good for a change.
That's good. So you got to watch Liverpool beat who? I don't even remember.
West Ham.
West Ham.
We were just shitting on West Ham. Yeah, I got to see the
Apparently.
Chelsea Man U game, and obviously that was a bad one. And then I got to see Man City shit on Arsenal.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Nah, I was disappointed by that.
Oh, that was so much fun.
I
Arsenal,
bet.
were Arsenal, City were City, and Gary Neville was Gary Neville on Sky Sports.
No,
Did you
Gary
guys hear
Neville.
that?
Absolute roast. He roasted
Oh my god,
all the Arsenal players.
it was amazing.
He never pulls his punches, though. He kind of just has an opinion on everyone.
Yeah, Gary Neville. He's my favorite pundit of all time. He says everything, no matter how unfiltered it is.
Paul Scholes, he's another one that generally talks. Real
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Paul Scholes actually said he doesn't like coming on TV though because people don't like his
Paul
opinions.
Scholes is
Paul
boring.
Scholes,
So
he
boring.
sounds boring. That's true.
I don't know if it's the accent, but it's complete. I can't listen to him.
It's his monotonous voice. I think he talks a little bit like this, like all games.
It's his facial expression in general, as a pundit. It's just like.
Are you sure it's
too
not because you're a
serious.
Liverpool fan?
No. I like Gary Neville. Come on.
Okay, fair enough.
Gary Neville doesn't like your team.
Gary Neville is a fair pundit. He's not biased, unlike like Martin Tyler or something.
Dude, let's not get started on Martin Tyler. I have a rant. I will
Let's
BTT
not.
right now if I go on Martin Tyler.
Okay, we don't need you going all DT on us when you're apparently hammered. So, you know what?
I think you need another shot.
What are you having?
What am I having?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just pounding back wine right now because I don't have anything else,
Nice.
unfortunately. Although, your store is close by.
Dude, you're so close. I bike over there two minutes.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm like a 30-second walk from both
Straight
your store
up.
and LCBO. So, I got me the goodies all the time. Not to mention there's two bars outside my window, so.
Also true.
Fantastic.
I just finished half a bottle of Jaeger.
That is great to hear,
Ooh.
guys. I love to hear unbiased
So let's,
analysis from sober
Get
people.
into the footy.
Yeah,
This is going to be one
unbiased,
great
sober
show.
show. Great. Okay, so let's actually start off with the cup final. And, oh my god. Was anyone not expecting this? Let's start off with that.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting this, but I wasn't expecting Arsenal to be so dreadful.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
I saw Arsenal. I thought, okay, Aubameyang starting, cool. It's gonna. If he gets the service, he's gonna do well. But
Do you know what?
Unfortunately, not for Arsenal.
This was probably their strongest team too. When it came out, I'm like, okay, this is actually not a bad team selection by Arsene Wenger. He hasn't pulled like his classic big name drop to the bench before like a big game, and I was pretty satisfied with this team that he put out because it meant okay, like we actually get to play against full strength Arsenal. Like I wanted to see if City can actually do this, and they just fell apart. Arsenal in the second half especially. The first half wasn't actually a bad performance from them, despite what everyone's saying, but just that one mistake by Mustafi, which everyone is saying not a foul, and I completely agree. And Jack Wilshere made an Instagram post today saying it was clearly a foul.
I saw that.
So what's your guys' take on that? Do you think that was a foul?
No, not even close.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it, Tristan, but it was just like a very small nudge by Aguero.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, I mean, I think everyone agrees.
If Firmino's like nudge on Stones for that goal, like the chip in the Liverpool City game,
yeah,
it reminded me kind of that, where that wasn't given as a foul, so this shouldn't be given as a foul either.
I guess. But I guess in that situation, it was a shoulder-to-shoulder with Firmino and Stones, and that's legal. Although this, like, if you want to be
shoulder,
overly critical, like, you might say Aguero pushed him in the back. But, like, no way was that a foul. It's a contact sport.
No.
And Aguero was actually really clever with what he did there. So, that was not a foul.
And the thing is, Mustafi just gives up after he feels some contact.
Immediately
and
gave up.
as an attacker,
like,
if you feel contact, if you give up, that's agreeable. But as a defender, if you feel contact, you just cannot give up.
Literally. And I was laughing when he did that. I'm like, come on, is this really what we're going to come up against today? So, clearly not a foul. And then Aguero gets that goal, which Ospina made.
But it's
Sorry?
It's an unfair size. It's an unfair size difference. I mean, Aguero is just so much bigger than Mustafi.
Yeah, Aguero's really tall. He's like almost 7 feet, I think.
He just pushes around all of them.
Should play in the NBA.
The Germans should worry about him.
I don't even think Mustafi plays for the German national team. If he does,
Damn
I think he's a
tall
sub.
Argentinians.
yeah. Hopefully he stays as a sub if they want to do well in the World Cup.
Well, they got a lot to choose from.
They do,
So.
especially Per Mertesacker. I think Per Mertesacker should start for them. He's a real speed demon, that boy. And
Dude, Mertesacker's so
At first, I thought you were serious there for a second until you said speed demon.
No, I'm just joking. Mertesacker's great.
10 years ago.
I guess. Same with Arsenal.
maybe as a coach.
Same with Arsenal.
right now, but
So, okay, we're getting off track.
did you guys see Arsene Wenger's post-match interview? What a load of...
You know what? I'm not even an Arsenal
Load
fan,
of,
and I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
He had his days, but honestly, I think at this point it's better if he probably turns over the reins.
He's not
They
gonna.
Thanks
kinda-
for the memories, but it's time to
He's
go.
he's not gonna walk away by himself. He has to be pushed out with his hands.
He has to be sacked.
Hands still grabbing onto the doorknob and his fingernails screeching into the floor. Like he's not gonna leave until he's dragged out.
And I feel for Arsenal fans,
I
like...
feel so much for them. It's like, I can't imagine supporting that club right now.
They got a good team to work with. I mean, it wouldn't take much either.
It
honestly.
wouldn't.
Just
Individually, the players
a
are
new
good.
manager. They already have the core. I don't even think they need a lot of changes out in their actual like squad lineup. They just maybe a few pickups in the summer, a new manager, and I think they're a whole new team.
No, literally.
But who's going to come in?
Okay.
Who's
I
gonna
mean,
come in?
Ancelotti could come in. He's open. Who else?
Luis Enrique is
Rodgers?
also an option.
I'm not saying he will come in, but I'm saying if you're saying quality managers aren't available, then I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think they're definitely out there. I mean, Luis Enrique,
Ooh.
for me, he's kind of a catch-22. He did well with Barcelona, but before that, I mean, he didn't really have continual like big teams where he's proven himself. Whereas Ancelotti's been multiple teams, Real Madrid,
But
Bayern
we talked about
Munich,
this
like
before.
Chelsea.
Ancelotti doesn't, like, build a team. He coaches a team with an existing...
He doesn't need to build the team. The team's there at Arsenal. I think they have the squad to do well and compete. They're not pulling what
To
they
be
should.
fair, I don't think they have
So
the
it's
squad
entirely
to
on
get in the
Ars-
top
I guess,
four.
I guess you're right.
I don't think their squad is even better than the 5 teams that are above them. So I'm not sure
No.
about that. And okay, also Thierry Henry. Did anyone listen to him when he was speaking on Sky Sports?
No, what did he say?
He was interviewed, not interviewed, but he was talking, and one of his co-hosts asked him, would you like to be the Arsenal manager next? Were you given the opportunity? And he said, I mean, who wouldn't, right? Obviously, it would be my dream, and like no one could turn that down. So obviously, he's working for Belgium right now, but someone young, someone fresh, someone who's been at the club. Like I
I don't think Henri's like a fit yet because he hasn't proven himself. But
Yeah,
I could see
agree.
like Eddie Howe coming
That's
in
fair.
if he decides to leave
That's
Bournemouth.
fair. But I mean,
Not enough experience
you
yet.
could say the same about Zidane before he went to Madrid, and look how well he's done, right? So
No, but
Well-
Zidane coached the youth team before. Henri has no
Yeah, and to be
experience.
fair, he also learned under a lot of big coaches, Ancelotti, Mourinho as well. So like he had a lot of just experience watching, assisting them. kind of
that's
thing.
fair. That's fair.
Henri isn't
Thierry
up there
Henry
yet,
is
but
working
I'm
under
sure he
the
could be.
legend Roberto Martinez at Belgium. So we'll see how he does
Everton
there.
legend.
But yeah, Gary Neville also had quite the time roasting Arsenal live on commentary. I don't think I've ever seen a team get roasted so brutally on
Gary
live
Neville
commentary
absolutely
like they did,
wrecked Arsenal.
yesterday. Arsenal.
I was laughing so hard at Gary Neville's
Don't
commentary.
get me wrong, I was enjoying it so much. I was laughing as well. It was such a good time for like the 15 minutes he was doing it. But like one of the points he said was Ozil, Ramsey, Xhaka, they're walking on a football pitch and you shouldn't do that. And obviously when he was saying it, I was having like an amazing time. It was like heaven for me. I was just laughing anyway. But if you
He named half of the squad right there.
yeah, but I mean
In that bit.
I thought about it stepping back, and Ramsey and Xhaka and Ozil aren't the players that you would expect to be defending. Like, if you look at Yaya Toure, he was one of the players that Gary Neville was praising in his commentary as a City legend, but he had the same problems. That's why he was forced out of the team by Pep Guardiola, because he's not entrusted to play in that defensive midfield role, which Wenger is asking Ramsey and Xhaka to do. But they're not defensive players, so you can't expect that from them.
Yeah, I would agree with that comment. They're definitely not defensive as far as their style goes. If anything, they're center mids or center attacking mids. With Ramsey's being more of the center attacking, I would put him towards.
And that also relates to your point when you were saying, like they have a good team. And I agree with that. Ramsey, Xhaka, and Ozil are amazing players when they're used right. But I just don't think Wenger is using them right. Like he's almost being completely blind to this defensive midfield vulnerability that they've had for such a long time now that like they're not gonna track back. They're not gonna put those tackles in, and he doesn't seem to realize that. And he's making them look worse than they are, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, if you took someone even just like, if, for example, you took Klopp and put him in the exact same position, I think they'd do far
Yeah.
better. They would be
Arsenal just
utilized
need to
to
change
their
completely,
potential.
just because
Completely agree.
21, like how many ever years like Wenger's been there, it's just the past 5-6 years have been, although they won the FA Cup, but still, it's not like they've been competing in the league. They need to change ASAP.
What do you think is like the biggest problem with them right
Wenger.
now? Like everyone
The players
keeps
are
saying
not bad whatsoever.
it's Wenger.
I'd take maybe like at least 4 or 5 players from that Arsenal squad to go into Liverpool squad, but it's just the style of the manager and like just the mentality at that club is so toxic right now. The fans hate the club. The manager is being old isn't a bad thing in football. We see Jupp Heynckes or however you pronounce his name at Bayern. He's doing a fantastic job.
It's being stubborn. It's being
Yep.
stubborn.
Right, exactly.
You have
Like
to
it's
keep
not that he's
adapting,
old.
and you
It's
have
just
to keep.
that Arsenal have just stagnated as a club, while the other 5 have just like progressed, and they need
Yeah,
something right now
exactly.
to boost them. And I think the only way that's gonna happen is if Wenger goes.
Yeah, honestly.
But to be fair, though, City played extremely well. It was effortless by City. Like it almost seemed that they weren't trying.
Yeah, first half was pretty even, but second half City really stepped it up, and they almost made it look easy against Arsenal, even though like
It looked
was
so easy, like from a neutral perspective.
it looked easy, but like they really put the hard yards in, and you can see how much
I
they
don't
were
think Arsenal had a
running
single
and
chance in that second half that was like concrete, except for like one Welbeck shot that went like in row Z.
yeah. I don't know. Like Neville mentioned it as well. Like their attacking play is even gone now. Like you don't see the tippy tappy football and the amazing passing
No.
plays that like used to define
Like when I
them.
think of Arsenal at its best, I think of that goal against Norwich that I
Yeah,
think Wilshere scored
yeah,
with Giroud, like that one touch football. That was brilliant. One
yeah,
of the best goals in the Premier League era, but it's just gone for Arsenal right now. I don't know
yeah.
what's gonna.
It's really depressing.
Something needs to change, and Wenger needs to go.
To be fair, though, if we look at it, I mean, it Arsenal did obviously not play to their ability. They've been a little bit in a rut, but like the other side is Man City just played well. I mean, and that really makes the big difference. If one team plays a little bit poor than what they should, and one team plays a little better, you're going to see a large discrepancy. And like, if you just look at the possession, you were 55% Man City, 45% Arsenal. And then the main thing though is even though shots on target was only like 3-2
Right.
in favor of Man City, you have to look at the shots off target,
Yeah.
and you had 9 compared to Arsenal's 3 at that point. So I mean, just the amount of like offensive display and pressure they're putting on them, it accounts for the large discrepancy there. It wasn't just all
Yeah,
Arsenal.
that's been the story of City's season actually. Just the sheer amount of pressure that they can put on opponents. So if they don't get them the first or second or third or fourth time, they'll get them the fifth time or the seventh time or the 20th time, as they've proved time
What do you
and time
think is the
again.
way to stop the City team? Because we've seen Liverpool do it and Wigan do it with two different styles of football.
Okay, well, first of all, the most important is just you need quality. You need
But Wigan
you.
doesn't have quality. Wigan just
Okay,
went
you know
on.
what? You know what? That Wigan win, if you actually watch it, was an
You know
immense
what?
amount of luck.
I wouldn't
It
even.
was an incredible amount of luck they had that game. I'm not saying that because I'm being bitter or anything, but like the amount of
Hmm.
shots we had and possessions we had, that was the only shot on target, Wigan. Like we were
Just
pretty unlucky not to score.
Yeah, like I don't think it's quality because you always see generally weaker teams beat a better offensive side by far. For example,
But I mean that hasn't
uh,
happened with City per se. That's been their strength. They haven't really slipped up even though they've been
this season they've done pretty well. But I mean, you can see it in the Wigan game, for example. But I think going back to the question, the best way to take on teams that are superior than yours, there's two ways. Either one, you come right from the get go and you go all out offensive on them, and you do that by contributing also with more of like a rougher style of play. You see that with Atletico Madrid a lot of times, especially back in the years when they had less like quality players. They were taking on these big teams and doing well and keeping up with them. It's because Simeone, he makes it and ensures every single player goes out there and plays with heart and they're aggressive though. And that's one of the ways that I've noticed even just from when I was playing competitive is that some of the rougher teams we had by far a much harder time against because they would just go and they would push you kind of thing and they'd get in your head, they would get you out of your zone and then you just start to make stupid passes and that's when they can counter on you. And the second one is you can where you see it with Mourinho style is like a defensive counterattack style, very very strong defensively, and then you just wait for that one mistake, and then you counter and you pick it off on that one mistake.
sure.
And that's a very tough style to play, and you have to really execute it and hope that you're defensively great. But I do like the athletic or the more of the aggressive kind of like offensive style.
Sure, I agree with that, but I also think you need to back that up with just the quality of players you have because the only two teams who have beaten City, three teams, sorry, two teams other than Wigan,
Shakhtar, right? Shakhtar in the Champions
yeah,
League.
two teams other than Wigan that have beaten City this year have been in the Champions League, Shakhtar away and Liverpool away. And those are just teams with
And
so
Wigan
much
away,
quality.
right? All away.
Yeah, but like it's just been a combination of aggression and also just quality. Like you need to take those chances once you do get them against a City team because they won't give you the ball. So you need to have the quality to keep the ball once you do get it and also keep it in the attacking player in the attacking areas of the pitch where they're so good at pressing and counter pressing. So it's a combination of both.
I take the mind that once you're in the EPL or the Premier League or any of the major leagues, you have, for the most part, quality players that can pull off these things. Maybe they're not the well-known players, but they're still
Um,
quality players
I don't know. Like I mean,
nonetheless.
you see it more often in the Premier League nowadays, where bottom half teams are realizing that they can't really counter these, as you would say, top six, where like just the amount of quality that they have is increasing every year just because the amount of money they're spending.
No,
Yeah,
I
but you
think
get
before, like
and
the smaller teams used to like go to these bigger teams and go with the mentality that we can still win
Yeah.
this, like grip it by the neck and just like
but you're seeing
power
that
through, I guess. But
you're seeing that
yeah,
less and less now, just because the quality
You still
is
get
actually
upsets consistently though.
it's gotten less consistent, I'd say. It's definitely
I
got
think the only team that's doing that is Palace and Bournemouth.
Liverpool fans. Palace is
Yeah,
always going
you
to
know
do
what?
that.
Screw Palace. I hope they get relegated, but
Okay, well,
I'd like to see the statistics on that because I'm just not entirely positive that that's the case.
maybe, but I
I
definitely
mean the stats might not back it up per se. But if we look at just like the style of play, you see Newcastle going away, you see West Brom going away,
I don't know.
and
I
just
think
teams in that
the
bottom.
stats might even back that up because I definitely haven't seen as many upsets these past couple of seasons as we
Right.
used to see.
Well, I know Man U recently, within the past few games, they lost one game against a weaker team. Same thing with
Yeah,
Chelsea, where
yeah.
they lost against like Watford or something, for example. Like Man
And
City against
Bournemouth.
Wigan.
Yeah.
Like you get losses against the weaker sides.
You
So
do,
like
but I mean,
I'm just
I feel
not
like those
believing
are
this.
And it's
those were
because you
like
play them more often.
Maybe if you go way back in the day, kind of thing, like before like Michael Owen's time, kind of thing.
no. I mean, even
Then
4 or
you're gonna
5
see
years
more
ago in the
then,
Premier
but-
League. I mean, like all the way from 2011 to 2016, like you had a lot more upsets than what we've seen in the past couple of seasons, in my opinion. Like,
Well, there's nothing to it though because the Premier League sides they're still making a lot of money with the TV rights deals, so the bottom teams are able to at least compete.
I don't know.
But like they're
It's-
buying players
But
with
then
you
again,
almost
the
higher
top
caliber.
teams are making more money marginally compared to the bottom
you can like
sides, right?
literally see two separate leagues in the same league now, where you have the top 6, and then there's just such a big gap between them and the bottom 14 now. It's just like visible. Where you didn't see that
Like-
before. You didn't see that before.
Well, this is one season though, right?
It's been that way for the past 2 seasons, I'd say, and I feel like it's only gonna get bigger as the money
I mean,
keeps
only
coming
time
in.
will tell. It's entirely possible. It's just
That's true.
I'm
Yeah,
not completely sold yet.
that's fair. So moving on to the Chelsea game.
But yeah, City, congratulations, City, on road to a maybe treble. I don't know.
I hope so.
I honestly think Real Madrid's going to take this now.
Really?
Real
Yeah.
Madrid's-
3 seasons in a
They've
row?
been doing poor in the season, but when it comes to Champions Cup tie or matches, for some reason they pull the rabbit out of their ass.
And Neymar's out for the tie.
Yeah.
The second leg.
Neymar's out. Honestly, I think Real Madrid was probably going to take that anyways, but that definitely is a huge boost towards
But what
them.
an upset to PSG. Because
Oh.
people were tipping PSG for the Champions League this
Yep.
season.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
And to go out in the round of 16?
I wouldn't be glad, Ansh. Honestly, I think Real Madrid's just going to keep getting better and better each game, so I think if City faces them, they're going to have one hell of a tough time.
You know, I'm not too convinced by that yet because
I hope City faces
I've
them.
yet to see a team do so poorly in the league and then still end up winning the Champions League, except Chelsea that one season.
Well, look at Barcelona. They're
And
doing.
Liverpool.
Look at Barcelona. They're doing
honest.
amazing in the league, and
And what?
look at the first game against Chelsea. I mean, not so great, right?
I mean, I think that's just because the English teams are much stronger this year. I still think Barca are going to go through, in my opinion. And I think they're going to go further than Real Madrid in the competition.
Statistically, I would agree with you. I'm just more going on hope right now.
Fair.
I'm praying.
We'll see. It's still like only the round of 16.
Yeah, a lot of good games to come up, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, then going back to the PL, we had some interesting games with the other members of the so-called top 6.
Manchester United
Um,
beating Chelsea 2-1, and Romelu Lukaku realizing that he is actually a striker in the top 6 games and actually scoring and assisting. So
He showed up.
he showed up, and I'm pretty happy for him, even though I'm a City fan.
Yeah, he's had a bad habit of not showing up in the larger games and doing well in the weaker games. So good for him and good for Man U. They needed that both teams needed that win, but it worked out in Man U's favor. So congrats to them.
I mean, from a Liverpool perspective, it didn't matter the result of the game because someone's going to drop points. But,
Tristan,
I hope for a draw. Chelsea were robbed, in my opinion.
Tristan, you can start talking about Chelsea now. You can stop congratulating United.
Oh, yeah, it's killing me inside slowly. Yeah, so like you look at the first half of the game, Chelsea's all over them, absolutely all over them. Came out for right from the get-go, on them, possession on their side. They had chances. They hit the crossbar right off the beginning, like great opportunities. The one problem I had with them is they were in their possession for the most part. Uh, Chances wise, not so many. I found first half they did pretty good, but just as time went by, especially into the second half, they died. They weren't creating the opportunities. They were getting possession, maybe getting their zone, but they weren't really getting chances, and they weren't capitalizing. They just couldn't, for the life of everything, finish. Meanwhile, Man U, I mean, not too much possession, not too much chances, but when they were there and the chances they created, they finished them and they capitalized on those. And you got to give it to them there. They were clinical when it came to the points where they needed to be.
They really were, and it's not really something that they have been against the bigger sides this season, you might say.
But then again, they were home, so it's kind of expected of them to play some form of attacking football.
Right. But I don't know, like Chelsea, like Tristan's right, I feel like they dominated the first half, and United just looked short of ideas, like desperately short of ideas. The whole Sanchez, Pogba, Lukaku, Martial combination just hasn't worked out for them yet, in my opinion, and I'm not sure that it will. I feel like Lingard, when he was in the team, was doing much better than Sanchez is doing now, and I feel like Shrikar, you mentioned it in an earlier episode. It feels like Mourinho's almost just, throwing together a bunch of really good players and expecting them to come up with some magic and perform. But I don't know if this United team is the best team
capable of that,
in terms of their formation and their setup right now. Like, because
I entirely agree with that comment. I think that they've had more of a focus on getting good players, but not getting the right players. Sanchez, to me, has been a flop as far as going to them. I think he hasn't nearly contributed what he should
could be doing. It's only been 4 games, so I think flop is a strong word.
Fair enough, but I also think, I look at the game against at least Chelsea, I found he wasn't very good at all. I don't think he contributed nearly as much as he should have, nor do I think he contributed really well. I find but I don't think it's necessarily his fault. I think he's not getting put in the correct position.
Definitely
they have a diamond formation, and they were trying to play him in the middle,
It's like, what is...
In my opinion, United are having like a identity crisis right now. Like I don't know what they are as a team.
And I know it's like premature, but I really want to just blame Mourinho for this, because they have the players. They just need someone to say, okay, you have to do this, and this is how we're going to play, because this is the best way we can play with the players we have. Like, they have so many good attacking players right now, but he still insists on playing the defensive way. So, I wonder how long these players can, put up with this style of play, because they really don't seem content playing this way, and they don't obviously play at their best when they're playing this way.
I think Sanchez was a waste of money personally, not because he's a waste of money, but I think because they're not playing him the position they should. Yeah. I also don't, they have players that can play that position. So if they're going to take him, they should either ship someone else out and they can move him into that position, or they shouldn't have got him in the first place, and they should have spent the money on someone else that would be better suited towards the team. It's not necessarily the big stars.
I don't think Sanchez was the correct fit at the correct time.
Yeah, you're throwing stars together, which, I mean, it doesn't necessarily fit. You want to go what's good for the team, and you get a person that actually...
And with the manager, Mourinho is so frustrating.
I know.
Just as a neutral viewer of his games, oh my god.
Oh my god, I completely agree.
What is Mourinho doing?
It's so much untapped talent in that team, man. So
much talent. Gets the results, though, for the most part.
It's just it frustrates me when they don't play well, but they still get the result, and then... the media just hops on their bandwagon. Ever. They're like, oh, look, Mourinho can still get results and not play well. Okay, well, why don't you get results and play well? You have the players.
I think that game was less of
so many teams around them are doing the exact same thing, playing good football.
I know. It frustrates me.
I think that game was a lesser result for Manchester United winning and more of a result of Chelsea losing it. Man U credit
needed
to
it,
them,
to be
they
honest,
did
'cause
do
Liverpool
well.
moved
But if
into
you just
second.
look at it, I mean, Chelsea had 14 shots to Man U's 10, 7 on target to the 5. But look, the offsides were 6 for Chelsea versus Man U for 1.
Morata, man.
Mm-hmm.
Morata's
6
not doing
freaking
well, I have to
offsides.
say.
Like
I think
that
he should
shouldn't
be.
happen that many. Like you're wasting chances, and there's just as a result. I mean, they
Okay,
just
well, okay, you know what? One of those offsides was actually a goal.
oh yeah, yeah, Murata's there when he put it off the post and in.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
he
goal.
was offside unfortunately on that one. Half a chest too much,
No,
but he was
no,
offside.
no, he was not offside.
No, that was clear.
That was onside, mate. They actually examined it after the game too. It was onside. If
I
anything,
don't know.
it was like his fingers that were on offside, and your hand doesn't count for offside.
I don't know. The replay
That's your
I
foot
saw,
placement, right?
it showed like half a chest, but maybe it was just the angle.
And literally, like,
No, if you look at the VAR lines that are like perpendicular, like it clearly shows that Murata was onside, and like his legs were onside, his like hands and arm might have been offside, but that doesn't matter.
they don't actually have VAR in the Premier League, so you probably just mean regular lines. But yeah,
Just in the
No,
cup.
yeah, I mean like if you look at the VAR angle implemented into the Premier League system
okay,
with those like lines that they show on VAR.
yeah. Man, they need to fix VAR before they introduce it. Anyway, yeah,
Moving on, I guess, an important victory for United. They go back into second place after Liverpool took second from them.
so actually, quick mention on the top 5 now. City's obviously top, but there's only 2 points separating each team from second to 5th now. So
Yep,
I think
Right.
it's like 59, 57, 55, and 53. So
it's still close.
Mhm.
yeah, there's not much hope that's lost for Chelsea fans yet, and there's not anything for
not at
certain
all.
in terms of any team being safe yet. So everything is still to play for, in my opinion.
Man
And
U's in a
to
decent
be honest,
position
all
at
5
least
teams
staying.
in that top 5 are in the Champions League, which means if one of those 5 win the Champions League and still qualify out of the table, like
Yeah.
if they're 5th.
Yeah.
I think it's still a big if at this point right now. There's still a lot of teams. We'll have to see how the semis go, if anything.
Yeah.
Or quarters, like if
Oh
you
yeah,
wanna
quarters.
make it.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, because I mean,
But I think all 5 teams are going to make it.
I
you
don't know
think
about
Chelsea's
Chelsea.
going to beat Barca.
I don't know about Chelsea, and I wouldn't be so sure about Tottenham yet. I'd still wait on that.
No, Tottenham are home, and I think they can pull it off.
They can pull
I
it
think-
off, but I wouldn't
I
be
think
100%.
They have
Tottenham's
2
got a
away
great
goals.
team.
They
I
only
think
need to
they're
play
gonna
for
pull it.
0-0.
Yeah, like I'd say the odds are probably in their favor, but like I wouldn't be 100% sure yet. Like Juventus are still
And
really
the same
good
thing
guys.
with United. They're home too. I think are all the English teams home except for United? I mean, except for Chelsea.
I think so.
Tottenham, Liverpool, City, and United are all home.
Yeah. Cool. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's still a tight top 5, except for City. And
Anyone can miss out because Liverpool still have to go to Old Trafford. Liverpool have to go to Chelsea.
yeah, oh,
And
Chelsea
I
are playing Man City next
think-
actually.
Yeah, that's going to be a
Right.
interesting game.
It might be
Because if Chelsea lose that and Liverpool or United win one of their next games,
Listen though,
that means Chelsea drops.
Chelsea
out
might
of
be
that
lucky in
pack.
this game because City have to go play Arsenal now after their big hangover after the title winning party. The cup winning party, and that's gonna be on Thursday.
I mean, title is still a fair shot. I don't
Maybe
think
Man
anyone's gonna
City will
catch up.
still be drunk from their title win, and hopefully Chelsea can capitalize on that.
No, listen, they're playing Arsenal next. They're playing Arsenal next on Thursday. So
Very, very drunk for many
Interesting
days.
fact: in 2016, Liverpool played City in the League Cup final where we lost on penalties, and we went on to face City in the next game at home, and we beat them 3-0.
Yeah.
So Arsenal could be in for revenge.
I was just gonna bring that up, yeah. So I think there's a good chance Arsenal could just like catch City sleeping in this game and beat them possibly, especially because they have to perform after that performance, and then.
But even if they do that, they're still like far away from that.
Oh no,
pack.
I know, but I'm saying that might give Chelsea a chance to capitalize as well because Chelsea are playing City just like after 48 hours from that game. So
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't say anything is done yet in terms of Chelsea.
Wait, Chelsea are playing City 48 hours after that Barca game?
No. After City play Arsenal, not 48 hours. Sorry, 70,
Oh,
72
okay,
hours.
okay.
72 hours. 3 days.
Yeah.
So
Still a decent amount of time to rest. They should be pretty well prepared. Although, when you're playing this many games in a week, you start to get tired pretty quickly.
yeah, and also Fernandinho was out for them,
Right.
and I'd say Fernandinho is probably our most important player.
Really?
We don't have anyone else who can play defensive midfield, dude.
City has a lot of depth, though. That's the one
Touré?
thing
No.
that they
We don't
going for
have
them.
we don't have depth in the defensive midfield position. We really don't. We have no one else who can play
Can't
there.
Touré fill in?
Yeah, but who
though?
needs defense? Just all offense.
That's literally what we did for the second half against Arsenal when Fernandinho got injured and we beat them 3-0. So against Arsenal it might work.
Yeah, just not against teams like Wigan.
Shut up.
Moving on to the next game, top six, I guess. Tottenham went away to Palace. Cheeky 1-0 win for Tottenham. They needed that. Harry Kane scoring in the 89th minute with a header from a set-piece corner.
My fantasy team needed that too.
Who doesn't have Kane in their fantasy team, honestly?
Speaking of Harry Kane, he's my golden dude of the month. He's just
Golden
consistently
dude
putting up
award.
games, goals, breaking records.
to be
Tristan's
fair,
golden
Salah is
dude of
up
the
there
month,
too.
Harry Kane.
So that's our golden dude of the month today, guys. Brought to you by Tristan.
No. Salah is up there too.
Yes, but I've already said it's Kane.
Yeah, sorry. Tristan took it.
No. I think Salah's been more consistent than Kane this season.
I'm gonna have to go.
No,
with-
not season. I was going month.
Month? February?
February.
26, almost done.
I'd have to go with Granit Xhaka. I think he's been immense.
You know, I think Aaron Ramsey was
Yeah,
right up there with that 2-goal. Who they beat 5-1 again? Everton. Haha.
So is my manager boy gonna be Arsene Wenger? Manager
Hammer
boy of the
week,
month?
Feed troops.
Okay, guys, a little bit off track. What were we talking about? Which game?
The Tottenham game. Harry Kane missed a sitter against Palace again from a set piece.
Yeah, but he scored, so it's all
But
good.
he made up for it. 89th minute. I hate Spurs,
Dude,
but
come on, support the
no,
English
screw
people.
Spurs. Okay,
Like,
screw Spurs.
they are literally
diving cheats.
They are literally gonna carry England in the World Cup, so you need to start supporting them.
diving cheats. Ali again, but he's not gonna get banned because he's English.
Don't worry, guys. Other two don't mind Spurs.
I actually love Spurs.
Yeah,
Hate
you know what?
Spurs.
I
Hope they get
appreciate
knocked out of
them.
the top four. I wouldn't mind if Chelsea
Ali
like,
is a
slipped in
diver,
instead
though.
of
You're
Spurs.
right. Ali is a diver. You're right.
Dude, Ali.
Who
oh my
isn't,
God.
though?
He's been diving
amount of
consistently
people-
for like.
A lot of them embellish a lot. I wouldn't say diver by definition, but embellish a lot.
Okay, I think you.
Like,
have
I got
to.
hit in the elbow. I'll dive two to three steps after.
Okay, but
The
those are the
pain
worst.
just took so long.
And the worst part is the referees never book him. That means you can't take like action against him after the game.
Oh, really? You can't.
Yeah, apparently you can't take retrospective action against the player if the referee doesn't yellow card him in the game.
Classic FA, man. What are their like
Classic FA, I know,
retarded
right?
rules? Like, what does that even have to do with anything? Why?
It's like freaking ancient like rules, like the system
What do
they
you
have in place.
What do you guys think of the fact that they charged Pep for wearing his yellow ribbon in support of
Dude.
the Catalan independence?
Wait, they charged him for that?
Yeah, because apparently it's
Yeah,
a political
the
symbol.
yellow ribbon he wore for Catalan independence.
It's a political symbol, so like it's in the rule book. You
I think
can't.
that's a little extreme, charging him for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can wear poppies, but apparently that's not a political symbol.
No, England got charged for like wearing poppies too.
Yeah,
in one of the
UEFA
UEFA
charged.
games, I think a year ago.
Yeah,
They shouldn't have free speech, though.
it's literally that. The FA are run as a dictatorship, and I've said it before. Like, they're not caught up to the modern times. Like, they need to update their rule book like really badly.
Yeah, that whole Catalan issue, it's still not really resolved, eh?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
some people are still on the run, so you know they
I
actually
heard,
they
I heard that
searched.
the Spanish league doesn't let them back in. You could potentially have Barcelona and what is it? One or two other teams that could potentially leave to another league.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was talk I think last season about the Premier League taking in Barca somehow.
no,
Man,
Like, I don't know,
that'd
like,
be
the
so
Telegraph had an
competitive.
article.
It's already competitive.
no, that's not gonna happen. You know,
But also, like, there was an article about like this, like, the top teams from every country having like a league of their own.
okay, that's. I really
Yeah,
hope
I've
that
heard
doesn't
that.
happen.
That's been going around for a few years now.
I hope
Yeah.
that
That'd
doesn't
be
happen.
interesting.
No,
What are
no.
your thoughts about that though?
It
Like,
gets
do
rid
you
of the
think
whole
it's
Champions League then.
And also, I mean, it also blocks the pathway for like smaller teams to get into the Champions League.
right? Right. Because you'll never have a Leicester again if that's the case.
Exactly. It's no, it's not. It's not how football should be, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either. Like, as much as I'd like to see like games against the top teams regularly,
Watch the International Champions Cup. You'll be happy in the summer, but that's about it.
Premier League Asia Champions 2017.
Dude, Chinese pitches are horrible. Never going back there in the summer.
Did you guys hear about the Atletico Madrid players that left today for this Chinese team? Carrasco and someone else. I don't remember who.
Dude, I mean,
Like, why?
dude. Okay, listen though. Your generations for the next like 2 or 3 generations would be set. Like, think about it. I know it's terrible. I mean, I don't understand why someone like Oscar would do it when you're still in your prime. But
Money.
it's a lot of money.
I guess, but you're still getting
A
paid like
buttload
what,
of money.
80 grand, 70 grand
It's-
a week?
The way I look at it is the mentality, right? Depending on his background, if he came from like more of a poor kind of style or poor family, then any bit of more money could help and you can send it back kind of thing. Depends though. I'm not one even sure if he does come from that background, but from what I was able to read or gather, I think it came more down to money than anything, at least for his decision.
No, I'm sure it came down to money, but like a study by the BBC says that the Premier League average weekly wages passes 50,000, like 50K a week.
That's nothing, dude. These
Oh
guys
yeah,
are...
China's getting paid
But
way
no,
more.
but
I'm
like
joking. It's absolutely something.
like 50K a week is insane.
It is, but China was getting paid way more for Oscar. Like he was getting.
No,
a lot
I
more.
agree. Like you're getting paid like 5 times that
Yeah.
money on a regular basis, but
I think more than that. he
like
was
at
making.
50K a week, you're making 2.6 million.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, there's taxes, but like you still have endorsements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, how much money can you really like need?
I don't know, man. I agree with you. Like, it's your career. Like, this is what you wanted to do. Like,
It's
ever
your
since...
legacy. It's not even your career.
It's both, yeah. Like, what do you want to do? Like, live your essentially your football dream by playing in Europe, or do you want to just just get the money and run?
True, true.
But yeah,
Moving on to the next Premier League game in the top six, Liverpool faced West Ham at Anfield, and a comfortable 4-1 win with Mane, Salah, and Firmino scoring with Emre Can.
man, they just can't stop scoring.
No, and people thought that with Coutinho leaving, Liverpool would like fall off in the goals department against the lesser Premier League sides, but that hasn't proven to be the case.
Yeah, they've really stepped up those front three. Yeah, and
And Mane hasn't even been on form. Like Mane missed a sitter against West Ham, but came back and like 2 minutes later he scored an absolute quality goal.
Firmino's
like,
been really vital for you guys in that attack.
dude. Firmino is the first player on that team sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Firmino and Robertson, in my opinion, are the first two, like the two players on that team sheet before anyone else.
Yeah, not Salah. I'd bench Salah over.
Honestly, even if you bench Salah, we have a replacement. Like
Who?
like if we have to rest Salah, so be it. Like honestly,
I think you could trade Salah for like maybe a semi decent washing machine or something.
no.
like
Thing
that.
is, like we can.
Wait,
we
I'm sorry,
like,
what?
switch Salah with Chamberlain.
Yeah, you could probably get like a semi decent to like a decent washing machine for him. I think.
I'm so confused.
No, but like I watch Liverpool every week, and I honestly think if Salah didn't play like one weekend, like next weekend we play Newcastle, and if Salah didn't play, we could honestly have Chamberlain sub in for him, and it'd be still fine. Because if we start Mane and if we start Firmino,
I don't know, man. Like
it's
Salah,
still okay.
I think he scores in a lot of key times for you guys. He scores a lot of key goals. Almost all of his goals are like point getters before like the rest of your team pads up the score sheet. Like
I think the biggest thing here is just the fuck ups that Chelsea's been doing with missing all these players. Like
Yeah.
if you look at Salah,
Yeah,
De Bruyne, Lukaku, or De Bruyne, like
Yeah,
They're
that's
just getting rid of
Mourinho.
all these guys.
That's
Oh, yeah.
on.
That's all on Mourinho.
on
to be
Jose.
honest.
How
He
has
didn't
Salah
give
been
enough
doing?
time.
Or not Salah? Oxlade-Chamberlain been doing since he left Arsenal.
Chamberlain's been okay. Thing is with Chamberlain, he's
Inconsistent.
been. No, he's not. He's not as inconsistent as he's been at Arsenal. Just because he's getting like a run of games in his like preferred position. Because Klopp actually knows how to play him correctly, unlike Wenger, who plays him at like right wing back. But for us, Chamberlain plays in like the right mid, attacking right mid position, and in the correct game and in the correct position, he does really well for us. Against West Ham, if you saw the assist for the Salah goal, he was relentless in his like attack and press, which actually gave Salah the ball for the goal.
Shout out to James Milner though. He's been fantastic.
Milner
for you guys.
has been.
And he hasn't.
No, the
he's
thing
gotta
with Milner
mention-
is last season he was played at left back.
I know.
Because we
But I
didn't have
mean,
a left
just
back.
this season for the past few games, even he's just been a
Right.
quiet like.
Miller has been fantastic, and the thing is, Miller has been rested for a few of the games. He hasn't been starting as often,
Yeah.
but when he does start, because of his rest period and because of his
He
age,
performs
he's doing really, really
so
well.
energetically.
Simply because he has that rest.
Yeah, I think like Milner, Chan, and Chamberlain / Henderson is like a pretty
And
good midfield three.
Wijnaldum, don't forget Wijnaldum. He's often underlooked, but Wijnaldum has been a key player.
I don't know if he's been as key this season though. I don't know.
No, because Henderson has been injured and Lallana has been injured.
I don't know. He just hasn't.
So Wijnaldum has played like a majority of the first half of the season.
Has he done
in the,
well
in
though?
the midfield?
I don't.
No, he's. Thing is,
I think he's.
you never notice him, and I think when you never notice a player in a game, especially a midfield player, that's always a good thing.
Fair. You probably know
Because
more.
if you don't
watch
notice
him
him,
more.
that means he's doing something right.
Fair.
Yes, he doesn't score as much, but he still contributes to the press. He contributes to the defense.
Yeah, I don't really. I've never
And-
really understood what his position is because I just remember him scoring like 5
the
goals
Liverpool
for
front
Newcastle
five
in that
or
one
front
game.
six don't have a particular position.
Like, is he a holder? Or is he
See, that's the thing. Like we play 4 at the back always. That's guaranteed. Robertson and like there's either Gomez or Trent at right back.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Klein returned to an under 23 game today, so Klein's gonna be back in fitness soon.
Oh, that's good.
But we always play a back 4, so it's either Van Dijk,
Mm-hmm.
and one of Lovren or Matip
Right.
partnering him with Robertson or Moreno.
Right.
So the back 4 is solid with Karius at the back, but then our midfield always changes. Klopp has made the most rotations this year.
Yeah, your midfield three
in
is
any Premier League
pretty
team.
fluid, so that can always change.
So we have players that are interchangeable, except for our front 3, which don't change, which I kind of don't like. I'd like to see Danny Ings and maybe Dominic Solanke get more time.
Really? I mean,
And I honestly think Firmino is going to be benched for the Champions League tie against Porto.
true, probably, yeah.
We might play with 2 at the front with Solanke and Ings.
Yeah.
So Klopp's been fantastic. I honestly can't think of a more perfect manager for Liverpool at this point. I'm happy. Second place. I think Liverpool are going to finish second, as I said last week.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, all in all, happy days.
Well, yeah, that was a pretty good win for Liverpool, and that leaves the top 5 as we discussed. And I think that also wraps up our coverage for this week's discussion. As always, guys, just remember this is discussion, so don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast if you really like listening to us every week. This was Ansh.
And don't forget to
Especially
DM us if you feel like there's something we need to improve on or something you'd like to see featured in the podcast.
For sure.
Especially you West Ham and Arsenal fans loving our commentaries.
Yeah, we apologize.
To be
but not
honest,
really.
we feel sorry for Arsenal fans. West Ham, I don't know.
Yeah.
We just picked on them for no reason.
I apologize for
Dude,
that.
West Ham are a shambles.
Okay.
Let's just all hate on Ansh.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Just hit on City in general.
that's fine. We'll just keep winning.
They're too good.
Anyway, so it was great to have you guys listening. And as we said, if you like the podcast, then subscribe so you get to hear us all over again next week.